So I was going to talk to you today about how my work has evolved throughout my career and how the challenges of technology have sort of forced me into changing the way I work and my methodology as well, and then the challenges offered by the recession. But I thought I'd just begin by telling, because people always say, "You're voiceover, how'd you get into that?" And it's a bizarre job, and I never really knew that it even existed before I sort of started doing it. I started off doing loads of stuff for the BBC, quite highbrow stuff, poetry and prose reading and drama and light entertainment stuff. And my dad saw an article in our local paper, Sale and Altrincham Messenger, Bravo's from Sale, that rag, about a local business that produced commercials for radio and TV and stuff. And he said, go along, see if there's a commercial equivalent to what you're doing in the BBC. So I went along, did a voice test. I was shocked. Absolutely terrible. Because when you're recording commercials, the way you have to speak, nobody human actually talks like that. So they kind of said, go away, practice. And I did, geekily, for 2 years, listen to commercial radio, transcribing the commercials, and then practicing. And then I went back and did another voice test, and fortunately this time, thank God, it went okay. And then I started getting working. The other thing I just want to say, just to get it out of the way really, is the mind the gap thing. People always say, how did you get that job? Well, London Underground is split into 3 different companies, and one of the companies that handles a big chunk of their lines wanted a new voice. So they asked a production company in London to help source a voice. So they got 3 blokes and 3 women to test. So I recorded some test announcements, and then they took it dead seriously. They sent it out to focus groups. The process took 18 months. And they codenamed each prospective voice. And the codename that they gave my voice was Marilyn. So then they leaked to Stories, the Evening Standard, saying that commuters had chosen the voice of Marilyn Monroe for the Underground, and then they got me. So that's how I got it. You may be aware that there was some controversy around the whole Mind the Gap issue, based on me being hideously decontextualised and misquoted by the Mail on Sunday. They alleged that I said that I hate London Underground and never use it and avoid it at all costs. I sort of did say those words, but not in that order. What I said is that I don't use London Underground because I live in Manchester. A bit of a commute. But when I do go to London, for me, the thought of being trapped in a tube carriage, listening to my voice full of people saying, I wish you'd shut up, for me would just be a living hell, and that would be awful. But they didn't print that. Oh no, oh no. So that story went global. I was on the 10 o'clock news, everything. There was a point when the story broke, and it just went mental. I'd taken my daughter to school that morning, and then by 3 o'clock this afternoon I'd done 2 packages, recorded them with the telly. Couldn't believe it. And it went all over the world. The phone was going mental. I had John T. Bloom on hold. It was the most surreal experience. And I woke up at about 3 o'clock, 2 days after the story broke, because it was still going mental, because it was sort of rippling like a butterfly effect around the globe. And I thought, I'm having a psychotic, narcissistic moment. This cannot surely be happening. So that's basically the background to that, in case anybody was wondering. So I wanted to start off really by saying how I work. In the days when I first started voicing, it was very different to how it is now. You had to actually travel to a radio station, and you'd be given scripts by the producer, and you'd wade through a whole pack of scripts, and then you'd go. So it might mean that you'd start off the day in Liverpool at Radio City, you'd drive there, do the thing, and then you might have to be in Viking, in Hull, on the other side of the country by 2 o'clock. Again, you can't. And then you have to be at Hallam FM in Sheffield. You have to come. So there was a lot of miles popped up. It was great because I got to actually see other human beings, which was great because now it's totally changed. over the course of the past, 15 years, God, when I think about how long I've been doing it, I go, oh God, ISDN bloomed really across the industry. And that's a very sophisticated digital technology. It's the broadcast equivalent of a telephone line, basically. Now, what that meant was that I wasn't in the car all the time going over the Pennines or down south. And I could actually just stay in a studio and talk in real time, more or less, given half a second delay, to producers all over the country, record my stuff, and get on to the next one. So what that meant was that suddenly, instead of spending 4 hours a day in my car at least, I had an extra 4 hours availability to be working, which was fantastic. It opened up a lot more opportunities. And of course, because it's a remote digital recording medium, it meant that I could start working with people all over the world, which is what started to happen. And I remember the first session I did with somebody in Italy. It was like, oh, they're in Italy! I can hear them! That was really bizarre. But with that came technological challenges, because I had to learn how to use my box, because I've been reliant on producers, as it were, producers doing all the techie stuff for me. And so now, because I have my own little studio, I had to kind of become a technical boffin and to really learn how to mend my own PC as well. I've since changed to a Mac, but that's another story. But then ISDN kind of took over, and that became the way we do business. I mean, Simon here is one of my customers, and we work together in that way all the time.
Yeah, sure, I don't have 30 years.
We go back a long way. But the other technological change that's happened, that's again opened up the market, is MP3 and WAV technology, and that's really down to broadband. Now I can get a script emailed across from a client in India, and I can record it. They don't have to have ISDN. I can just record it straight onto my computer. I save it as an MP3 or a WAV, and I send it off to them. And so the lead time in turnover of work has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk, because I can be emailed the script, record it, and it's back there within 15 minutes if I'm available. Now that brings its own challenges, because what that means is that clients' perception is that the lead time has gone like that, so the pressure to turn things over really fast has increased as well, which brings its own creative challenges to the script writing process, really.